I should be working on the Blade Runner review. Will be working on it by the time you all are watching this. But YouTube's changed some of its policies for the new year. And this buy now annual occurrence has triggered the buy now annual backlash, which has created a trending topic that we're all supposed to jump onto. Because that's what YouTube actually wants. Oh sure, they talk a good game about how they want creators, large and small, to show off their talent and originality, but the algorithms that actually run this website on a day-to-day basis want to keep people watching. And that's all. The best way to do that, if you're a soulless machine, is to recommend people a video that's exactly like the last one they watched. Which is why so many of us are disembodied torsos talking directly into the camera in front of a spare to blank background. If our audiences are lucky, we edit out our most egregious mistakes. But from a creator's perspective, the whole point of doing videos like this is because they're quicker and easier to make than pretty much anything else. Thus, they saturate the platform, sending a clear message to anyone who's trying to do anything else, and the message is, fuck you. We, YouTube, don't care about you unless you're already famous. All we really care about, even then, is how we look to our advertisers, making us functionally identical to the old media we used to position ourselves against back in the old days. Because there's no branding like adversarial branding. Just ask Marvel Comics. But YouTube's new policy will strip the ability to monetize videos from any channel that has under 1,000 subscribers, or the letter they sent us says both, so it's kind of communication as usual. Not YouTube's strongest suit. 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12-month period. 4,000 hours is 166.6 days, which, whoever arrived at that number, great job giving fuel to all the conspiracy theorists out there. At the time of this recording, I'm 757 subs and about 87 or so days short of the new requirements. And I wish I could be a good cavalier anarcho-socialist about this and just go, well, fuck ads anyway. Nobody likes them. Except, of course, the programs that run YouTube's search features are much less likely to find videos that can't be monetized for pretty obvious capitalist reasons. Making all the people who go, well, so what? Just do your own thing and wait for your channel to grow organically. It's not like you were making any money anyway, bro. Hilariously wrong. Wrong as usual. If there ever was such a thing as organic growth on this site, that day has long since passed us by. And here's where the real assholes chime in to say things like, well, YouTube's a business. They have to make money. YouTube's never made money. But now it's owned by Google, which is itself owned by Alphabet, which has holding companies and shells set up all over the world for the explicit purpose of dodging tax laws and avoiding paying their employees. Even their uncontracted contract workers, like, say, all of us. And whatever public image they pay PR firms to manufacture for them, the fact remains, Google is run by tech heads who've survived one too many stock market crashes. And this has left them convinced that they are special superior business geniuses, instead of the 21st century robber barons running a company town that they actually are. As superior business geniuses, they have nothing but contempt for the rest of us, and all the shilling for them in the world is only going to make them more contemptuous. They say they're rolling out these new policies to, quote, tackle the potential abuse of a large but disparate group of smaller channels. Which confused the hell out of a lot of people who aren't up on the YouTube inside baseball like some of us. I see plenty on Twitter blaming Vine star Logan Paul. That's how I always think of him, since that's when I first heard his name on an ad in front of a YouTube video. Irony abounds in this horrible century of ours, because the last big controversy that ensnared this platform was entirely Mr. Paul's fault. For the blissfully unaware, Vine star Logan Paul went to Japan this last holiday season and thought it was a good idea to film a vlog in the suicide forest. This massive act of complete and utter douchebaggery instantly became international headlines, because the only way to get YouTube to change anything is to do something so horrible that it makes the news. And even then, all they're going to do, really, is punish we small fries. As usual, the rich and the famous get to do pretty much whatever they want and get away with it. And people still wonder why everyone wants to become rich and famous. Credit where it's due. YouTube does passive-aggressively mention this in a way that does my Midwestern heart good. They acknowledge, quote, that the bad action of a single large channel can also have an impact on the community and how advertisers view YouTube, unquote. Would have been nice if they'd stopped at the word community, but they just had to reveal their true intentions, even in the midst of trying to address ours. It's like watching a drunk talk themselves up to the edge of a moment of clarity, only to crack open one more beer for the road. Just one. I can stop any time I want, you guys. Jeez, when did everybody join the fucking temperance union? Among many, many other things, YouTube has a real problem with myopia. Whenever something like this happens, we always blame the last big headline-making controversy to come down the pike, forgetting that vast, privately owned bureaucracies are no more efficient than publicly owned ones, nor have they ever been, ever. My own theory is that this is most likely a response to the big headline-making controversy before this last one, colloquially known as Elsagate, for the, again, blissfully unaware. Elsagate is the blanket term for the hundreds, if not thousands, of YouTube videos out there nominally made for preschool-aged children. Most of them were, or are, I guess I should say, because they're still out here. Most of the videos are cheap computer-generated animations set to traditional nursery rhymes and featuring well-known Disney characters like Spider-Man or Elsa from Frozen, hence the name. For some reason, Elsa is usually pregnant, and for some other reason, all of these characters are usually doing things that seem almost scientifically designed to freak out any concerned parent unlucky enough to actually view them. Watching Spider-Man and pregnant Elsa buy magic fidget spinners from the Joker freaks me out on a pure comic book nerd level alone, and I can imagine how I'd react if I had kids. Or if I found out about all of this from a story in the New York Times. Luckily, I don't have kids, and I found out about this story through fellow critic Dan Foldable Human Olsen. Dan always does good work, if you ignore all the shit he talks about Zack Snyder films. See, that's that adversarial branding I was talking about? Yeah. And this time, Dan uncovered anecdotal but extremely compelling evidence that a lot of the Elsagate fodder was/is made by robots for the explicit purpose of gaming YouTube's algorithms for unscrupulous companies. Pardon the redundancy. After all, what human being titles their video Joker vs. Frozen Elsa Cut Finger Prank Spider-Man Superhero Kids Movie in Real Life in 4K? And you can go, well, people shouldn't let YouTube babysit their kids all you want. The fact is, they did. YouTube spent a whole year and untold millions of dollars pushing YouTube Kids, basically telling all those parents out there, hey, you want 5 minutes of peace and quiet? Well, here's an app for that. And when they fell for it, they discovered a side of YouTube that had heretofore remained completely obscure, even for we dedicated, hopeless addicts. This was like, well, not quite like diving headfirst into the deep end of the shit pool, but it's more like diving into that edge of the shallows where you can really crack your head open if you land wrong. Yeah. I bet there were some very heated calls from very angry advertisers on the day the Times story broke. I'll even go so far as to bet that this whole thing was a complete surprise for most of YouTube's staff. So they looked at all of these ElsaGate channels and went, they all have low subscriber counts, despite the high view numbers. And then they wrote an algorithm designed to identify those channels. But like every other algorithm they've ever written, this one is dumb, because computers are dumb. They only know what you tell them. So we'll all be kicked out of the partner program by February 20th, 2018. Happy New Year to us. And this is the most charitable and least conspiratorial reading of these events that I can offer you. Let me then say, from now on, and I'm not even going to try to do a Scarlet Witch impression. I thought about it, but I'm going to spare you all. No more ads. They're not worth it. They never were, really, in the first place. I was honestly just curious to see what would happen. And I'm thankful to you all for indulging my experiment. But I'm obviously not here for the money. There is no money. There never was. I'm here because there's a market for carefully considered articulate film criticism, with the occasional colorful metaphor, that doesn't hide behind the shield of comedy or satire. So no worries, people. This isn't going to stop me. So far, the show has survived the demise of Blip.tv, its original home, a 2-year and going war with YouTube's Content ID robots. Shout out to Paramount Pictures. Your Ninja Turtles movies suck, and everybody knows it, and copyright claiming my reviews isn't going to change that, so... And most recently, the demise of VidMe, which, like everybody else, I took one look at VidMe and went... and gave it 6 months to see if they'd go belly up, which... Next to all that, this is chump change. And there's no way I'm going to leave you all at the mercy of these human garbage fires. They're going to have to kick me off. And even if they do, I'll still have my own website. You should look into getting your own website, kids. Just in case the more alarmist among us are correct. And this is the first step in them kicking off everyone who isn't some rich twit from LA. Obviously, though, some changes are in order. This once-a-month upload shit isn't working out for either of us. But the last thing I want to do is become one of those people who's obsessed with YouTube Inside Baseball. Like this. This just happened to affect me and everyone on this site that I'm personally friends with, and I wanted to show some solidarity. Because... yeah. Most of the Inside Baseball crap is crap anyway. Apart from the rare occasion when someone punches up at a worthy target. Like, I don't know, Cinema Sins or something. I don't know, what do y'all want? Apart from the reviews, I'm gonna keep doing those, regardless of what you say. Live streams? I was meaning to test if my equipment could handle that anyway, so there's something to look forward to. I've had a Patreon for a while now, but, again, organic growth is a lie, so now's as good a time as any to start plugging it. At the moment, I'm doing the $1 gets you your name in the credits thing that's pretty standard for people at my level. Again, let me know what y'all want. I don't know, t-shirts? Everybody does t-shirts, right? Prefer coffee mugs and beer steins myself, but, you know, to each their own. And I'm obviously going to have to come up with my own version of what I call the YouTube sign-off catchism. Don't forget to rate, comment, share, subscribe. They'll say it like that too. One word that most people's brains just filter out after a while. Certainly noticed it myself. If you're watching this, odds are you're already subscribed. Though, obviously, if you're not subscribed, please hit the little red button somewhere around here and the little bell that'll send you an email when I put out new stuff. That just leaves rate, comment, and share. And personally, I'd say share would take priority there. Don't keep me to yourselves, folks. Like the Batman said, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me. Rate the actual reviews. That's what's important. Though, if you feel the need to click the like button on this, I'm not going to stop you. And comment. My gods, the comments. You have no idea how wonderful all of your comments have been over these last couple of years. Especially after the previous 10 years of hearing nothing but horror stories. And hey, this should be a happy time. Even though we no longer meet their new shifting goalposts, we have increased our reach 5-fold since the Blippocalypse. And I just personally want to thank you all from the bottom of my carcinogen-laced heart. Here's to another year of raging against this machine, even as we're inside it, and it slowly digests us. If you like this video, click the subscribe button and the little bell next to it. That's like a second tier subscribe button, because the subscribe feature may or may not actually work. That's a whole other thing for a whole nother time.